Oh, hi guys. Welcome to the latest episode of Cricket Draft Insight. Hopefully this works. I'm just going to react to the player evaluations and the suggested playing 11s for the One Day Cup. I'm going to have to go in and out of Medium to do this. So my computer probably will struggle, but let's have a go. Try and do this in one video. I will try and whiz through. Okay, sure. First up. So obviously they've got a few players at the 100. So in terms of the One Day Cup, I mean, Hasib Hamid, I don't think he'd be the worst selection. I think he's kicked on slightly in white ball cricket. And then if we scroll to the bottom, I think a lot of people were impressed by Sam King and Freddie McCann last night. Sorry, my computer struggles when I try to do this. Freddie McCann and Sam King against Yorkshire last night. Both have been in some good second 11 form. Freddie McCann, done really well for England under 19s as well. There've been some big scores, and those players are now really what the One Day Cup is about. Slade as a one day cricketer. Tom Moores is in my team. So yeah, Nottinghamshire. I'm going to be careful what I'm doing on what tab here. Hampshire. So I was hoping that Ali Orr would come back from injury and do well. He had a difficult start at Hampshire in the county championship, but did then score 100. A few players at the 100. What did I just say? Sorry, distraction. So James Fuller and Benny Howe, they're both at the 100. Tom Prest is an exciting one, and then they've got a few young bowlers, and also Eklund played a bit, but if Brown's playing, I'm not sure whether he gets in. Yorkshire, exciting one. So as I discussed with some of the guys, I think we lean towards. So Live is at the 100, isn't he? So yeah, so Live's at the 100. So Bean and Duke to open, and then Wharton and Luxton in the middle order. Two batters. Wharton got that big 100 in the county championship, got a 50 last night. We see a lot of like 20s with a 6, and Luxton, like if we're lucky, he gets to double figures. Those two have torn it up in second 11 cricket. So I do hope Wharton can kick on a bit, get a few 50s, and that Luxton can get a few scores under his belt. He did score 100 in that county select West Indies match. And I mean, look at some of the values here. Oh, sorry. Some of these might have changed slightly. I did some spot checks when I did the bargain buy article, and they were all the same. But I think some people suggested the top players, maybe the values have changed a bit. But because it's not a website, it's a faff to do it another way. Don Bess, Revis, I think Cricket Draft mentioned, obviously not set the world on fire this season, but there's a lot of bowlers still missing for Yorkshire. Ben Cliff took a 4-wicket haul yesterday, so maybe he gets opportunities. Does Tattersall play? Just gonna have a look to try and fill me with confidence that this is working. Sorry, I always say I'm gonna talk about the values, and then I don't really mention the values, but just availability, who's actually going to play for these teams. Warwickshire, again, good players at the 100, quite a few players at the 100. So Ed Barnard, of course, everybody looking to pick him off the back of what he did last season. Hannon Dalby is popular. I will Liam Norwell a bit if he was fit. Love him to play cricket. So Rob Yates, as it stands in my team. I'd like to think my team pretty similar team. I did a bit of engineering. Well, I took Yates out to get Kimber in, and then Kimber went to the 100. I put Yates back in. I have Cashy from the bench, and then Carlson is the other one who's kind of vulnerable because obviously Northern Superchargers seemingly have only 7 players for the 100. Now, the suggestion is some of those are One Day Cup slots, which is why One Day Cups. What am I talking about? Overseas slots, which is why I've been suggesting Daniel Hughes, who I guess we'll come to when we come to Sussex, or we won't come to. But they're potentially going to sign, Safe Save, I think, was out there before. Anyway, we're on Warwickshire. Jake Lintott is, my sort of player, but he's not quite in my team. And then, some of those players, Michael Booth, Hamza Sheikh, Shakens, Amir Khan, Tazim Ali was the one I was excited about. Are those guys going to get playing opportunities? Some of them should, looking at that 11. Now, Glamorgan, Manus Labuskakny, because I'm sure I saw something from Glamorgan said it was his last match, unless they were just referring to his T20 match. Listed as an all-rounder. Interesting. Took 5 for 11 last night. Tim van der Hooven, not the sort of player who lets you down, is he? Ben Kellaway. Now, Kellaway's an interesting one because he was excellent last season in the one-day cup. I can remember, walking around places in France and checking my phone. It's like Kellaway going crazy, but he hadn't really got going. He didn't play in the county championship, T20, limited opportunity. Hopefully, he does well again in the one-day cup. Does Prem Sisodia get any game time? Because Mason Crane is at the 100, and at the moment I've snuck Will Smale as my sub-wicket keeper, who's an interesting one. I think he's Welsh. It says Ireland. They played in Ireland, and then he's come to England. So yeah, it's like I say, Carlson currently in my team, and obviously because Crane isn't there, maybe he does get overs as well. There's some people well, he's batting, but he probably will bowl a bit. Andy Gorbin's not a bad player, actually, Somebody described him as a bit like Benny Howell. I mean, there was a horrible dropped catch the other night, but he's, he contributes. Durham, so again, 100 players. So Scott Borthwick. So is he playing in the one-day cup? Michael Jones could be a good one, I would have thought. But I would have also thought he's like the 100 vulnerable. If Northern Superchargers are looking for some players like Michael Jones, I would have thought could be in the mix. It would be nice to get some clarity there. Mustard as a reserve, well, even the first choice wicketkeeper is going to play. I quite liked what I saw of Oliver Gibson in Zimbabwe. And, George Gristle, I don't think he's not the most heralded name. We played previously in one-day cricket. I think he's done all right. And I know one or two of you watching very excited by a lot of these young players. So we'll see what opportunities they get. McKinney, along with one or two, we'll mention here, very good for England under 19s. Colin Ackerman, he's probably the sort of player you want, isn't he? Somerset, who will have pretty much as many players as anybody at the 100. Now, Miguel Pretorius, I got very excited by Bias Swanapoel, and obviously I also had Webster, who's done all right at times. On Pretorius, I think his first county championship game, he was a bit expensive or something, but then he has taken wickets and he scored quite a few runs. Now, if he's fit and he's playing, and he's listed according to that, he's listed as a bowler, he can bat. Jack Leach, Andy Umeed, is he going to repeat last year is a big ask. I mean, they really are. They got enough batters here. The Thomases, one of them's a batter, isn't it? Well, they've been opening the batting. George, is it? Goldsworthy, he's back at Somerset. Done very well, hasn't he? Left-hand spinner, like my white ball, left-hand spinner, scored runs, been at Leicestershire. So, yeah. Northamptonshire, so I mentioned Saif Zabe, like you would expect, he is extremely vulnerable. Now, I did see some people with Alex Russell in the team, and I like Freddie Heldreich, who is a player. I haven't quite gone into detail about the fact I'm not really happy with how he's been handled at Northamptonshire. But I don't really see how Russell or Heldreich play because they have Theo and Zabe. I mean, if it's particularly dry, but then if Zabe gets signed to the 100, pretty sure, of course, will be in demand. And he's played a couple of county championship games, not scored a bucket load of runs, but, readapting to the conditions was incredible to see it. Like his List A record, he averages 57, 10 hundreds and 11 and a half centuries. Keogh kicked on as a white ball cricketer last year. Curtly Jack White, I really like, and just took a wicket first ball on his T20 debut and then took 3 or 4 wickets in the next game. Now, on the predicted playing 11, unless they've changed it, So down there, there's no mention of Emilio Gay, and I know there's a slight bottleneck at the top of the order of people who like to open. Maybe Proctor likes a bit free, but surely I don't like Broad. I mean, I don't expect Eldrick to play, and then Broad and Sales, like maybe one misses out. Like Emilio Gay is playing for me. Bartlett hopefully can play. I think he's also been slightly mishandled. You know, he should do well given the opportunity, as long as he's batting sort of no lower than 6. No, you just don't know. You know, your Raphael Weber or Gus Miller, you know, given the opportunity, could be some little bargain buys. Worcestershire are obviously an interesting one, and another one which I would critique playing 11. Obviously, extremely injury hit. Now, I did see Kashif Ali post something which gave the impression he's fit. I don't know what Nathan Smith's fitness is. And again, if we go to the predicted playing 11, Ethan Brooks isn't in here. I'm not sure whether Gibbon and Finch are fit. So surely Ethan Brooks is in that side. You know, he started in the Blast with the little innovative, funky, like 15s. Then he stepped up with a ball. He's taken wickets. He's gone on to a bit more substance with the bat. 5.9, and I think a lot of people looking at him, whether it's just on your bench to start with or to play. You know, Gareth Roderick is one I've always suggested could be good in these games because he potentially does play open the batting and keep wickets. Kashif Ali, of course, if he's fit, raring to go. Like he's on my bench, I think, because I've just picked, my squad has had some critiquing. I've just picked the players I want, right? And I did a little bit of, you know, management because of the budget. Things didn't quite fit to get a couple of players in. Very happy with it. And then I've just put the players who are playing once on the bench. And I'm hoping I'm going to like just roll with this squad. You know, I was in the county championship about taking Bohannon out and he was scoring a double 100, which was fine with. It was like a couple of weeks later. But I don't anticipate chopping and changing in this. You know, maybe a bit of fragility over my bowlers. But Kashif Ali on my bench game one. That's always the thing for me. And you see it in the Blast. You know, I had Michael Pepper scored 100. But this week for me, he was on the bench because they only played once. And as it happened, Matty Hurst didn't do anything in the first game. So Pepper could have outscored Hurst. Maybe he did. I can't remember. But I'd still look and say, well, that player was playing twice. So there was logic in the selection. The only time I haven't really done that is, and I know he did well last night, but Luke Benkenstein has often batted down the order and then bowled, say, one over. And I know I'm carrying Heldreich in my team. But like there might have been one week where I said, you know what, Benkenstein isn't doing enough, even though they're playing 3 times. I'll pick somebody ahead of him. But if somebody's playing twice and somebody's playing once, the person who's playing twice is in my team. Unless it was like all-rounders and I felt they were involved in 2 innings, you know, batters of bowlers about. But anyway, like this team, you know, they are an injury or a 100 call-up away from being decimated. Ollie Cox is one who I mentioned at the start of the season. He's been awful in second 11 cricket recently. Like he can't buy a run, and it's one of those I'd love him to play, but you don't want him to play if he's horribly out of form. So Brett D'Oliveira, I mean, I am instinctively gone for him in amongst, you know, quality all rounders. He's not going to let you down, is he? Ed Pollock got some runs the other day. Can he kick on? Where are we? Surrey, excuse me. What's that? Drink some water. It's extremely hot up north here. That's not as hot as yesterday, but warm. Well, okay. Lots of yellow. Ben Folks, 8.3. Okay. I was going to say be popular. Yeah. Now, Cameron Steele is in my team. 7.1. Love Verdi to get an opportunity. Ryan Patel is 100 call up away from being in my team. So pleased to see Matthew Dunn play his first T20s in 3 years and take some wickets. Would love to see Yusuf Majid get some opportunities. I like Blake. Blake was exciting. He and Folks could both play. I've clicked off. I'm not convinced by the batting order that is listed for Surrey. Now Leicestershire, interesting one worth mentioning. Now, obviously, Kimber's gone to the 100 and he's listed on the 11. Fair enough, you know, when it was posted. But this team does have Ian Holland in it, and he is at the MLC. Hanscombe, 78. Rahane, 8.5. Yep. Ben Mike, he has his off days, but he's done all right back at Leicestershire. Chris Wright, is he available then? If he's available, he'll interest people. Hopefully, Harry Swindles gets some game time and can do well. I don't think Travaskis, I think he'll play. If he's batting around 6 or 7, because Leicestershire, another one, I think they are one injury away from struggling. Which is actually what I've got Roman Walker in my team. I didn't have much money left to put Roman Walker on my team. I know some criticism of money on my bench. But even Kimber getting called up, I know that's not a direct replacement, but it just has a knock-on effect. Maybe Travaskis goes a place higher, and maybe it gets Walker in, Hasn't had much opportunity. Budinger, if he comes off, he comes off. But like Pollock, it doesn't happen enough, does it? Sam Evans, does he get to open? Did well last year, of course, in the final. I can't remember now. Did Evans and Swindles just play in the final? Is that what happened? Middlesex. So obviously Ryan Higgins is at the 100. So, some good batters there. So Bamba is in my team. Martin Anderson. Now, he scored some quick runs in the blast and then got taken out of the team. And he did have a bit of a trough. But he scored some quick runs again. He opened the batting, scored some quick runs the other night, and was then in the middle order. Just stick. He's doing well. Doing well when he opens the batting, scoring quickly. Can take some wickets. I think it's small sample size, but I think he might average 50 in list A cricket. If I needed something else, or I didn't have one or two of the players available, Martin Anderson would be very much in my reckoning, and I would like to see Henry Brooks do well. Player I was, interested, excited about this season. It'd be nice to see him crack on. I think Sam Robson, again, I'm not convinced by the batting order isn't in this selected team. Sam Robson at 6.5. He scored hundreds last year and he took some wickets as well. Not to let you down. Noah Cornwell is a player who's emerged off the back of some good second 11 form, and Tilan Walaluita, he never gets to play. Hopefully he gets a game or two, but then if Holman's there, De Cares, Fernandez, Lancashire. I think this is going to have a lot of yellow on it, isn't it? Bohannon's in my team. Williams, Bailey, popular. Jennings will be popular. Balderson will be popular. And then it's just George Bell, George Lavelle, Harry Singh. Flintoff is in a lot of people's teams. Some of those guys, if they get to play, maybe they turn out to be, one of them was playing, surely, Bell and Lavelle, then they turn out to be fantastic selections, don't they? Kent. Now, Kent, I think, are definitely very much in the somebody gets injured, somebody gets called to the 100, they're doomed. Their overseas situation, obviously, I know Swanapoel, maybe he gets fit and play. Stobo, played his first ever T20 and then hasn't played. They signed Rodgers, didn't they? But, that's not for this competition. Matthew Parkinson, Ben Compton, might be perceived to be an attritional stoic opening batter, but in this competition, Jack Leaning is listed as a bat there, if that's still the case. I don't know what's up with Denley. I'm not sure if he's been 100% fit, but Jack Leaning, who took wickets the other night. I am excited by Gilchrist. I know a lot of people are by Everson. Gilchrist has taken a wicket in every T20 last match this year. And, he goes at 10 and over. But, he was excellent a couple of seasons ago. And then he went with England Lions. And then last season, he was awful. But he's clawing it back this year across the formats. Really pleasing to see, and now emerging as a white ball bowler. I know his economy is 10. It's only a small sample size. I think white ball T20 blast teams, I was even thinking the 100, we start to look at him. Okay. Now, I know some of you think I'm weird, but I'm excited. I'm excited by Marcus O'Riordan. I think at 5.9, Finch as well, wicket keeping option 6.1. O'Riordan is not a top order T20 batter, but he can bat. Okay. Done very well in second 11 cricket, and he can bowl. And I know Kadri was mentioned, whether Kadri, Parkinson. I think O'Riordan plays, and Leaning's back. Maybe he doesn't, okay? But it's only an injury or something away, and then O'Riordan's playing, and he's potentially batting high, and he's bowling. So he's got on my bench. It's £5.9 million. An enabler, if you'd like that terminology. Essex, so obviously exciting wicket-keeping situation. Pepper and Rossington, I think, are both at the same 100 team. Is it Northern Superchargers? Maybe it's not Northern Superchargers. Who's the other wicketkeeper? Cox. Okay. Now, Dean Elgar has actually done all right at times in T20, one-day cricket. If you want, he won't let you down, even if there's a perception of a, like I say, a stoic test opener. He'll do all right in the one-day cup. Luke Benkenstein, hugely exciting. Charlie Allison, these guys got runs last night. They will do well in the one-day cup. But Ronnie McKenna down there, but they've signed Simon Fernandez, and Ronnie McKenna, I noticed, had not done a lot in second 11, even though he kept wicket in the county championship earlier this season. They signed Simon Fernandez, who has scored runs in the second 11. So Simon Fernandez presumably will be keeping wicket for Essex. Gloucestershire are a hugely exciting team. Extreme quality here. Should do well. Now, I had Jack Taylor last year. I'm not going with Jack Taylor because I have Miles Hammond in my team. I don't like the fact Jack Taylor was listed as an all-rounder, but he did take 11 wickets in the one-day cup the year before last. But he don't really bowl. Like, he had some issues, didn't he, with his action. I don't know what's going to go how, if he's coming back then, if Webster's gone. And Matt Taylor's going to the 100. And Tom Smith's listed as an all-rounder, which, again, doesn't fill me with enthusiasm. But if your batting is, who's the other opener? Is it Charlesworth? Bancroft, Charlesworth at 5.8. Bracey, Hammond, Price, Van Buren, Jack Taylor, Smith, and then a few decent quick bowlers. Well, that's a strong team. Okay. And then does somebody like Ed Middleton get in? Ben Wells has retired. Doesn't need to be there. Randomly, I noticed Jack Shutt is on the app. Doesn't need to be there, does he? But yeah, I mean, they have got no excuses not to be posting competitive totals. Derbyshire, so there's one or two potential dark horses here. You would have thought Pat Brown. So he's not at the 100, but he's having he does what he does, doesn't he? Like a few of them. Might be a bit expensive, but then he gets, come back on, take wickets. I think he made early breakthroughs the other day. Surely, if Northern Superchargers need some player, I don't know how it works in 100. They're not going to sign Pat Brown. Ross Whiteley, whilst I'm here, Pat Brown and Ross Whiteley. Is it Jake Lint or Bapara? Maybe somebody else are going to play in. Is it the Max 60 Cayman Islands T10, which I think clashes with the next round of the county championship? Ross Whiteley's having a renaissance. I've always thought Ross Whiteley, okay, scores quickly, but he doesn't hang around. But he has had some scores of substance. He scored runs in the county championship. He's taken wickets when given the opportunity. He's a good fielder. So in the one-day cup, maybe Zach Chappell is an all-rounder, but he does score runs. And I tell you, Matt Lamb has got himself back in the county championship side. He's got double 100 or something. Like, surely he does all right in the one-dayers. And I have Mitchell Wagstaff, who with Thompson, maybe it's a little. Does he play every game? But it's 4.5. If he has the opportunity to bat a ball, it could be a sneaky one. Sorry if I miss some of the players at the top, and you're like, Paul, stop talking about Marcus O'Riordan and Mitchell Wagstaff and talk about, the exciting international £8 million players. Okay, have we actually gone through that? Okay. Well, sorry, it was a bit of a rush. But I was just speculating about the 11s, who's playing, some of these players. And Draft also shared this because I do believe on the app, there isn't going to be a notification saying, this person isn't playing in this competition. But the other thing is, players will come and go. There's rules before about if you don't play for 10 days or something, but then some people have been signed as replacements. But again, this is why I always, with my squad, I don't want those players that are coming and going. I want the players who are consistently going to be available. It's why I don't pick England players who are coming and going, because it's a transfer. And then something else happens, injury, call up, and then you have to do a paid transfer. Okay? That's why I go for my England under the radar crew and under the 100 radar crew, which is why I'm paranoid about Carlson right now after he batted last night. It's really annoying me, this Northern Superchargers situation. Like, just sign 5 players and tell us who they are. Okay, so we can sort out our teams. So yeah, here's all the players at the 100. And the other thing, like the 100 as well, because at one time it's like, well, it's entertainment. It's not about the result; it's about entertainment. And then I'm like, well, some of these players are going to be sat on the bench. Why don't they just play for Northern Superchargers rather than taking other players out of the One Day Cup for everybody to have a 15-player squad or whatever? Why not just give some of the teams had 15 players and like some good batters listed to be on? Just give them to Northern Superchargers for a game or two, or the entire loan them. But yeah, just a long list here of players who are at the 100. Surrey, lots of players. Tom Laws, who hasn't done amazing in the T20 Blast. Hopefully he gets back in the groove after injury, like John Turner. Maybe just need a bit of opportunity to get back in the groove. Tom Alsop, who's had some good innings. James Coles, who's kicked on. Been good to see. But anyway, these are the players that are at the 100. These are the players that we are not picking, the mighty Jordan Thompson. But yeah, okay. Hopefully that's of interest or use to you. Regardless, it was me getting to talk about players. Hopefully this has worked. Thank you very much for joining me. Oh my goodness me, half an hour long. Okay, thank you. All the best in the One Day Cup. How's that?